There cannot be a more deserving champion in our inaugural season of VCT Americas than Loud.
He does it all. This guy is the GOAT IGL.
Você quer ter aulas com grandes personalidades do cenário e evoluir ainda mais sua gameplay? E utilizar todo esse aprendizado adquirido em um campeonato super organizado e com live stream oficial? Tudo isso você encontra na Everest. E mais, você não precisa ter um time, a plataforma encontra um time para você que se encaixe na sua gameplay. Além disso, lá você também vai encontrar um guia completo com todos os pixels em todos os mapas para você deixar seu Sova, sua Viper insano. E na Neverest você também vai ter aulas toda semana com um coach profissional ao vivo. Você vai ter um coach profissional acompanhando sua performance e os assinantes têm direito a análise de POVs ilimitadas. E eu consegui um desconto ainda maior para quem é inscrito aqui no canal. Usando o cupom SMOKEMID você tem 15% de desconto. Fala galera, tudo bem com vocês? Hoje Loud e NRG se enfrentaram pela grande final do VCT Américas e a Loud simplesmente amassou e venceu por 3-0. E após o jogo, os casters e analistas da transmissão em inglês falaram e deram suas opiniões sobre a partida. Mas antes da gente conferir o trecho, pessoal, peço que confiram se estão inscritos aqui no canal. Mais de 50% das pessoas que assistem nossos vídeos não são inscritas. E isso é algo bem rápido pra você, então confere se está inscrito, deixa aquele like nesse vídeo e vamos conferir o que eles falaram.
Mimi, from the minute go, they set the pace for the rest of the league, and yet they're still the first to cross the finish line.
From a near flawless regular season to an upper bracket run to the final, they've now 3-0'd NRG to continue their era of regional dominance. They never lost a tournament at home in Brazil, and they will continue that into this new era of VCT Americas.
And once again, history repeats itself with this matchup. Falling to NRG one time in the regular season, bringing it back with a clean sweep in the final to take home the trophy.
And just to tell you how special this team is, the IGL of all people top frags the grand finals over APÓS, over less. They drop one map throughout their playoff run. One map, not even a series. They drop one best of three all stage. This team is indeed the final boss of our region.
And while they defined the meta with double controller and Harbor Viper throughout the regular season, in the playoffs, in the grand finals, they changed things up. They continue to lead in innovation, pulling out a chamber on Bind, the Neon double controller comp on Fracture. They're so good at finding new ideas, and that's how they've stayed so relevant for so long.
And when you talk about the depth of talent on this team, listen, we could speak about APÓS and less and what they've done with these guys all season, all day long if we wanted. But in these final moments, individually, their IGL, SAAD stepping up, earning himself that MVP, top fragging the series overall. 2E's, a guy who's kind of like a glue guy for this team, stepping up on map 1, map 2, tons of crucial kills.
Zero weak points, absolutely zero. And then you have someone like Fraud in the coaching role, learning Portuguese a year ago. Sure, he grew up in a Cuban household, spoke Spanish, but my God, this guy answers questions in Portuguese after the game. I mean, he just fully immersed himself in the culture, and to see what he's done with this team in such a short time is unbelievable.
And for him and Sadaka's at IGL to bring up another 2 young Brazilian players and bring them to championship winning level, this is a huge moment for 2E's and Cal and Zine. Les and APÓS are both young too, but they had their moment in Champions 2022. Now every single player on this squad, despite them all being so young, so fresh to this scene, have claimed a trophy, and Sadaka's been there the whole time.
And Sean, he said on stage he's not quite sure why he was awarded the MVP. You already ran through a few of the stats that make him so deserving, but add to all of that, the fact that he is the leader of this squad, that he shouldered the burden of that comp switch here, right at the tail end of their run. Sadak takes on so much for this squad.
That is such a humble statement. It's so ridiculous. Like I said, this guy top frags the finals from the in-game leader role, picks Chamber of all agents in the second map on NRG's pick, top frags the map, changes the comps, is the IGL, creates the playbooks, is the emotional leader of the team when you watch them. He does it all. This guy is the GOAT IGL.
And at the end of Fracture as well, when things were getting close and it felt like NRG may have been able to pull them into a 4th map on Lotus, which would have been a good one for them, SAAD comes up with the ace clutch to just shut the map down entirely from that point. Just insane performance from that man today.
It's ridiculous. And as we've already seen through the other international leagues, it is hard to be the champion every time. Fnatic fell to Liquid. DRX fell to PaperX. Loud is the only squad who was the favorite coming in, who had a fantastic regular season, who actually closed out and won their international league heading into Tokyo.
Yeah, the target on their back just got bigger when it comes to international competition because this team continues to not lose. And on top of all of that, though, Sean, I don't want to undersell the closeness of this series. Yes, it was a 3-0 map score, 13-9, 13-11, 13-11. NRG did push them.
Oh, for sure. And this one's going to sting for NRG. This is going to be one they remember for quite some time, particularly through that group stage in Tokyo where they're going to have to be now. And although they did beat Loud in, the regular stage of the season, when it came to playoffs, this playoff Loud, they hit different in the clutches. And
what's crazy is before this entire thing started, we were talking about the history of this matchup, how close these teams were. Both of them taking 4 series off of each other. The round differential being nearly identical. And at the end of this series, it's just so poetic that it's essentially the same as the first BO5 these two cores ever played against each other last year. Last time at Reykjavik, map 1, NRG core won 13-9, and then the following 2 maps were both by a 2-round differential. The poetry is insane, and it's exactly what this rivalry deserves. It just feels like
the pendulum is swinging back and forth between these two squads.
It goes beyond the map scores, though. You got to remember, Loud had 2 vetoes today. What maps did they veto? The 2 maps that these teams played 2 weeks ago from today, right? So they took away probably a lot of prep that NRG had in the last 24 hours. That is something that totally blindsided NRG, I'm sure.
It's a difficult loss for NRG, but as we've seen from this rivalry in the past, no one can win 2 series in a row. I'm sure heading into the next 2 international events that both these teams will be at and VCT Americas next year, NRG will want to get ahead in this rivalry yet again.
And let's be real, that's everything you want in a rivalry, when both teams are making each other better, right? It's not just one getting dominated and knocked down. These teams continue to push the pace when it comes to competitive Valorant. The first season of VCT Americas may be coming to an end, but we're just getting started. It's time to go international. Loud, NRG, and Evil Geniuses are heading to Masters Tokyo. They'll face off against the best from EMEA, the Pacific, and China, starting on June 11th.
Mas e aí, qual a sua opinião sobre o que eles falaram? Deixa aí nos comentários, deixa também aquele like, se inscreve no canal para não perder nada, aquele abraço, até o próximo vídeo. E se você assistiu o vídeo até aqui no final, deixa aí nos comentários quem foi pra você o melhor jogador da Loud nesse VCT Américas.